Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in to tonight's podcast, Lenore Pouring Session. And listen, I have a phenomenal guest with me on tonight, Dr. Katherine Washington Williams. I'm super excited to have her on tonight. And y'all, she is my final guest for the season. And you know what's amazing about this entire podcast that launched back in March? I started the podcast with someone that I did not know, and I'm ending it with someone I have not met personally, but just met them via social media. So social media can be a very, very powerful tool. But before I continue talking, Dr. Katherine Washington Williams,
Yes, ma'am.
introduce yourself to the great audience that is tuned in on tonight.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's so much of a pleasure to be here with Miss Lenora. She's a beautiful spirit. I'm Dr. Katherine Washington Williams, a general psychologist, and I look forward to being here tonight.
Yes, yes, yes. So we do have a few people that are on. Remember, everyone, in order for you to be recognized, you got to make sure that you make a comment in the comment section, and I will do my best to shout you out. Tonight we have Mrs. Mabel Williams. She says, good evening, Mabel. Thank you so much for tuning in. Also, Brianna is tuned in. Good evening, Brianna. Thank you so much for tuning in. And for those who are tuned in, can y'all do us a big favor? Go ahead and share this podcast, because when I tell y'all this lady that I have on is the bomb.com, she is. And what kind of drew me to bring her in as a guest is this video that I'm going to show to you all momentarily. I'm going to show it in just about a minute. But let me read this comment real quick. Bertha Townsend is watching. Thank you so much, Bertha, for tuning in on tonight. Go ahead and hit that like and that share button. So again, I'm going to go ahead and click this link, and y'all going to see why I had to bring this phenomenal woman onto the show. All right, I'm going to add it to the stream. And Dr. Washington, you're going to go ahead and hit that play button, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Doing so right now. Sorry about that.
No worries.
Okay. Let me stop sharing and then share again. I'm sorry.
Okay. No worries. No worries. So as she is getting that set up, I do want to read this comment. Brianna said, ready to hear your pour on tonight, Dr. Williams. So she's ready.
Thank you so much
about you on tonight. So are you ready now?
I am ready now.
All right, let's show this video.
Katherine Washington.
Jesus.
All right, Dr. Katherine. Gosh, that video, we just had some comments that came in. Angie stated that video is pure joy. Brianna said that, well, I'm going to get back to Crystal. Brianna said that video is so inspiring. Crystal said, look at God. And Roderick just tuned in. He said, good evening, everyone. So just looking at that video, Dr. Catherine, and I know it's just bringing tears of joy to your eyes, and it's emotional. That is what drew me to you. And I'm like, I have to meet this woman. I don't know her, but her spirit, it just seemed like you went through so much to get to that point. So much to get to that point. And we want to hear your story tonight. What was that all about?
I lost my mother in 2019 to a sudden death. And my mother would always call me doctor. And it was her dream that I would be a doctor and be somebody in life, because my mother had a third grade education and so did my father. And they always pointed to me and my four siblings to be somebody. Don't let nobody stop you. And Lenora, I had 2 brain surgeries. I went through breast cancer. I went through a heart attack, a stroke, and just the struggle of being a single mom with 2 boys and helping them with their grandsons. I mean, my grandsons, my 9 grandchildren. It really was a struggle in life. And when I was in my doctoral program, one of the doctors told me, you just really need to quit. This was after I had the brain surgery. He said, you really need to quit and just give your body time to heal. And I told him, I said, this is something that God said to finish. I said, and my mother wanted me to finish this. My mother was already sick, but she wanted me to finish. And so when I crossed the stage, I was going to be a cute little Sigma Gamma Rho poodle. But then when I took a leap, that seemed like the Holy Spirit fell upon me and say, do this in remembrance of them. And so I could not help but express myself. And I don't make excuses for anything. And I tell people I would shout anywhere that God give me the opportunity to shout, because it's not me, it's his grace and mercy that have kept me here. When I had many people tell me I wouldn't even make it, especially with triple negative breast cancer. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about that more later. But,
Right.
That's an aggressive daily disease that I was told that I would live for 18 months.
Wow.
And here I am 6 years later, still here. So I rebuked that doctor and got rid of that doctor and got a new doctor that believed in Christ, believed in God, and said, I'm not going to let nothing stop me. Right. And in the midst, I did want to give up after my mom died. I didn't want to, I'm going to be honest with you, I fell into a depression that said, you know what? No matter if you're a preacher or whatever not, just stop. Because that's what Satan wants us to do so many times, is stop what the assignment that God has given to our hands. But we can't stop. So I had to carry on. And I felt like that was just my fresh air, and I was telling my teacher, my professor who was there through a lot of my struggle, that she believed in me, because I had to get a new professor, because the school I was going to, I had finished my degree. It closed on us. August, the university closed. So I had to transfer to North Central University, where this lady, she came in and she was like a breath of fresh wind, and say, you know what, you're going to complete it. You're going to finish. She said, just give me a little time and let us do it. Right. And she believed in me. And that's why I told her, thank you for pouring your spirit into me. Thank you. Because sometimes all we need is other people to believe in us. Right. To achieve the goals that God has for us. Because on this journey, it's really not about us. It's all about him and him getting the glorification behind everything.
Right. And we have some comments that came in. I kind of flashed a few of them on the screen, but you were talking. I didn't want to interrupt you.
Yes, ma'am.
But Brianna was touched by just watching that video, and she said, she shared a little emoji there with some crying eyes, but she also shared some hearts. So sending you some love. Sheree is on. She said, love you, Mama K.
I love Sheree too.
Some love there. Yeah. Angie stated, oh, I needed to hear that. So those words that you just shared, she said that she needed to hear that. And Jay is on. He said, hey, y'all. Miss Regina is on. She said, hello, everyone. Hello, Regina. Thank you so much for tuning in. Yeah. So, Dr. Catherine, you stated that you lost your mother.
Yes.
In 2019.
October.
Wow. So
I was at a convention.
2 years this month.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. As a matter of fact, October the 7th. And let me tell you something. I have to give shout out to Sheree, because through all my journey, I'm gonna tell you about this young lady is so strong. But all
Mhm.
my journey, I had to cry to her. Sometimes God will put daughters and people in your midst. I cried to her many times and told her I'm quitting. I give no, Mama K, you can't stop. And so we really need cheerleaders and inspirations. And when my mother died, Sheree was right there with me. She couldn't travel to Louisiana, but she was there in spirit, checking on me. And so she's been one of my best, and I'm gonna tell you that really, I'm gonna say controllers, keeping me calm. Because
Right.
we need other people to keep us calm, be in control when we're not in control. And
Right.
so I'm grateful to that. Everybody knew my mom. Everybody. I put my mom on speaker for everybody, because my
Wow.
mom was legally blind, and
Wow.
she loved people. But she'll tell you, she say, "Baby, I love Jesus too, but I'm gonna tell you about yourself." And I find myself being just like her. Stop trying to
Yeah.
change me.
Wow, wow, wow. So you mentioned something very important, and I want to talk about that, about cheerleaders. But I want to read some of these comments. Jay
Yeah.
said, I love Mama K too.
Oh, thank you, Jay.
So you're meeting some new people that are falling in love with you on
Thank
tonight.
you.
And Brianna said, go Sheree. So she's
Yes,
giving Sheree some applause
yes,
in regards to her being that person that kept control to keep
yes,
you accountable through
yes,
that time. And
yes,
Jay said, that's what I'm talking about, shouting out others while being
yeah,
highlighted themselves. See,
yeah,
that's
yes,
that unselfish
yes,
mindset.
yes,
When you're being interviewed, but you can also recognize other
yes,
powerful people that
yes,
have been very instrumental in your life too. That's
yes,
that's that's key. And of
yes,
course, you all please make sure that you share this podcast with everyone, because I'm
yes,
telling you, we have a great guest on tonight.
yes.
So Sheree said, glory to God. Yes,
Amen.
Sheree, glory, glory, glory. So
Amen.
you mentioned about cheerleaders. How important is it to have those individuals in your life, those people who are going to cheer you on, but yet hold you accountable when
Yes.
accountability needs to be implemented in your life?
I have to refer to the Bible with everything all through our life. Even in Jesus' walk, he held accountable partners with the disciples. And the disciples had accountable partner with Jesus, even when they did things wrong, whether they denounced him or whatever, not they still were accountable. So it is important that we find positive people in a negative world. And I say that because sometimes we ourselves start digging dishes for ourselves to be in. I tell people we want to get in a mud hole and start doing a little. I say our pity dance. Having pity parties because of the fact that we're not where we think we should be. But if you just could get a breath of a cheerleader, a breath of fresh air, a breath of somebody that is so positive to say, no matter what life throws at you, God got you. And God sent me your way to be that positive person, to be that positive cheerleader, to be that positive energy that you need, to be that positive accountability that you need. I'm telling you, a change will take place in your world. It actually will take place in your atmosphere, and in everything about you. And with Sheree, she did that. But I had my sister and my brothers, and them. At times I cried to them. So all my family, God sent a multitude of people around me. And but I love Sheree because one of the things about Sheree was going through her own stuff herself. But she put herself and her kids on the back burner and met me in Tennessee. Listen, 11 o'clock at night, I'm hearing a knock on the door. I'm sleeping. Didn't know. She called me, Mama K, open up. It's me. I'm opening the door, saying, what? And hugging her and just so glad. So I was glad that she was there to share that joy, to share that moment with me because I needed that.
Yeah.
Because she really seen my struggles. I tell people my mom seen them, but she wasn't there. And so here, this young lady, and she's Dr. Sheree Dupree herself,
Yes.
seen my struggles, and she was whoa. And I'm like, thank you, God, for all of it. You know,
Wow.
yeah,
Wow. That's so important. And when you were talking about cheerleader, I was thinking about in the natural, when
Mhm.
cheerleaders are cheering for a team.
Yes,
When they score, they throw their little pom poms,
yes,
and they're cheering.
Yeah.
And when maybe defense need to do a little better, they say, let's go defense, let's
Yes.
go. I wasn't
Yes.
really, I wasn't,
Yes. I was a
able to
cheerleader,
do
so I
that.
know what you're
But
talking about.
that's what they would say, let's go
Yes.
defense. And
Yes.
that was trying to get the defense to do what they need to do in
Yes.
order to help win the game.
Yes.
So we need those people to cheer us on when we're doing good.
Yes.
And then we need those people to cheer us on when we need to do a little better.
But yes.
So
most definitely.
that balance is good. Jay said, find positive people in a negative world. And we
Yes.
really need that. In
Yes.
this day and time, we need positive people in this negative world because
Yes.
there's so much going on.
It
So
is.
much going on. And Jay said, yep, we need them.
Yep.
Yumika is on. She said, awesome topic. Thank you so
Yes.
much, Yumika, for
Yes.
joining us on tonight. And again, make sure you have that positive person in your corner.
Yes.
Because everybody have negative people.
Yes.
That they meet day in and day out. Whether
Definitely.
it's at work, whether it's in their family,
Yes.
whether it's at church, whether it's in a grocery store,
Yes.
restaurant, everywhere you go, there can be an encounter with a negative person.
Yes.
But we got to realize there's still some really great people out there,
Definitely.
really positive people that are out there. And
Yes.
accountability is very important. But a
It
lot
is.
of people, Dr. Catherine, they don't like accountability. Let's talk about
Yes.
that a little bit.
Okay, then. Well, but you have to have somebody that's going to be truthful to you, no matter what you do. And I like that you say, because nobody want to be accountable for our actions. Nobody want to be told you're doing something that's not right. You're wrong about what you said and whatever not. So I came to the conclusion in life that you have to have this one person that I don't care if you get mad at me. I don't care if you never speak to me for a couple of months, because you're going to come back to me. Because if you're really my friend and you really know that I told you the truth, sometimes it's like anything. I tell people most often life is like cooking. Some meat you have to marinate. Some meat you have to tenderize. Some meat you have to cook slow. Some meat you have to cook a little faster. Some meat you have to do this too. Well, that's how life is. And I look at life as a cooking experience. With people in life, you need to know whether you're going to put them on the back burner or the front burner. You need to know whether you're going to put people on and I say that is because everybody can't be on the front burner. Everybody in your life, there's some people that you have to say, ooh, what they said wasn't right. Put them on the back burner. Let them slowly marinate and say, you know what, Lord, I'll come back to them because they're all right. They just got to cook slow. I gotta every night and I gotta stir them. And then those who really mean well for you, put them on the front burner and say, listen here, baby, I call it a 2-finger tap. If you ever been in the sorority, you know what a 2-finger tap, the old mothers who are 90 and 80 years old, they give us that 2-finger tap. Baby, close your leg. Baby, you're showing too much breast. So I tell people, give people a 2-finger tap every now and then. Tell them the truth about their self and make them accountable for what they done. Make them accountable for their action and let them know, listen, what you said or what you did is not right. How you doing things is not right. It's not godly. And then get mad, but I'm going to let you know, get mad at God because I didn't say it. Look at what he's doing. And so in accountability, I really have to say that I have not always been where I'm at. My mindset have not been there as I get older. And as I look at life and as I think back to the things that my mother always come in my ear and my father used to tell me, daughter, somebody's always watching you.
Yes.
And so I'm always reminded that everything that I do, somebody's always watching me. Even when we think that we're getting away with things, that's why we have to be accountable for ourselves. My thing is, to thy own self be true.
Yes.
When you're accountable to yourself, you don't worry that when the world hold up that mirror, because I tell folks, I say Facebook is a dangerous thing. I like that you said it could be good and it could be bad. And I tell people, I put on Facebook the other day, I had a conversation with one of my girlfriends, Marie, and we was talking about that. I said, don't put your business on Facebook if you don't want everybody to know it. Because when you put your business on Facebook, it becomes our business. So I said, then we are not accountable for what other people say about us because of the fact that you put our business out there. So if you put your business out there, if they say bad things about you, then take it with a grain of salt. put some sugar on top of it,
Ooh.
stir it together, and then like that taste or don't like the taste. It's gonna be bitter or sweet.
Wow. Wow, wow. That's some good stuff. Let me get some of these comments in,
Okay.
Dr. Catherine.
Okay.
Brianna said, we cheer even when they may not be performing their best. And she was a
Yes.
cheerleader, so
Yes.
she definitely knows about that.
Yes.
Sherry said, this is so powerful. And she said, come
Yes.
on now, doctor.
All right.
You better share them nuggets. And Brianna said, you're dropping some gems on tonight.
Hey.
Sherry said, yes, I'm screaming yes for the confirmation.
Yes.
Brianna said that part. Sherry said, come on now. So yes, 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 and yes. And I don't even want to touch that because you already hit the nail on the head with that accountability part.
Yes.
And social media in itself. You hit the nail on the head. So
yes.
It's very powerful. And that's how I met you. Social media.
Yes.
And it was how you depicted yourself in that video that I was like, ooh, I got to figure out how to do this, you know? And someone suggested it. They was like, you ought to get Dr. Catherine. And I already in my mind was like, get her. But it's like, that was just confirmation. Like, yes, Lenora, you need to get her on your show. Now, Dr. Catherine, who was that lady that wrapped her loving arms around you as you were going across that stage?
Yes. So that was my professor, Dr. Michelle Ackerson. And she had been with me through the whole thing. But let me tell y'all something. Talk about a cheerleader. If y'all looked at it, she pointed her hand, talking about, that's my girl there. I promise you, this lady, my dissertation topic was on a phenomenological study of female veterans with military sexual trauma. Something that is really near and dear to my heart, that we have missed the mark on military sexual trauma, and how Black women and other women, minority women, are being abused and misused in the military. A topic that hopefully I'll release a book on soon about that, because it's being pushed under the rug. Okay. Our hierarchy of the military is shoving everything under the rug, but that's another story for another day. Okay. But at the same time, she doing my dissertation, when I was defending her and Dr. Pat, they didn't even let me finish. They already said, when I got to talking, she's already a doctor. We don't even have to confirm. You already know she's a doctor, to the audience and everybody else. And that's how strong it was, because they knew that on the subject that I was talking about, I had did so much research on it that it was just evidence that it was going to happen. And she had been with me. She knew my mother. Talked to my mother. My mama did not meet a stranger. Talked to my mom, and my mom was like, she gonna be Dr. Katherine Washington. Do you know that? And so my mama, that's how my mom was. And she said, yes, ma'am, one day. And so she knew that the research that I done was very evidence-based research, that hopefully will be looked upon one day and not frowned upon by the military, because I exposed a lot of things, name bases and other things that really a lot of sexual trauma happens on missing females. So she was just another cheerleader in my life.
Wow.
That had poured herself into me.
Wow.
Yes,
wow. So it's amazing how you just created these connections where these people saw that you were resilient, and that through adversity, you were determined, even though you had your moments, and we all have our moments, Dr. Catherine. I don't care how long we've been in our relationship with God, or on this journey, or, you know, how strong we are. We all have our moments.
Amen.
But it's those people that will not allow us to stay in those moments. They're going to say, Dr. Catherine, I understand what you're going through. I'm going to give you your time, but I'm going to revisit you next week, and I'm going to check on you, and I'm going to pull you out of whatever space that you're in.
Yes. And basically that's, you know, if you go back even through the Bible, the beginning, that's really how it was. I tell people, I say, you look at Job. Job went through a lot. And Satan wanted him so bad and wanted to touch him. But God came back and said, Job, you can do anything to him, but you can't kill him. Okay. So no matter what. And then after Job finished and left him alone because he wasn't going to denounce, God rewarded Job with more than he ever had. Yes. So I tell people in life, if you stand fast to what God has for you, no matter what you go through, a storm's going to come.
Right.
Tornadoes and hurricanes, they're going to knock you down. You're going to lean, you're going to bend, and sometimes you're going to even break. But if you keep on going, and at the end of everything that happened to you, guess what's going to happen? That sun, S-O-N, going to shine.
Shine.
It's
Yes.
going to shine.
Yes.
It's going to shine.
Absolutely.
It's going to
Absolutely.
shine. Yeah.
Brianna said, what advice would you provide to someone considering a doctoral degree?
Number one, good question, Brianna. And the first thing I do is research what you want to do in life. I wanted to deal with people that had a mentality of there's medication once we go through a traumatic experience, but I don't really believe in medication for a traumatic experience. I believe in the mindset of there's and I tell people I just became a life coach, and I just became a certified life coach, should I say, and a certified hypnotherapist. And I believe that we can do hypnosis. I believe that there's other things that we can do. But to answer your question, research what you want to do and research something that you're good at. And let your whatever you put in your degree toward, whether it be education or whatever, not just research it before you even get started.
Yeah, that's good.
Research it.
That's good. Thank you for sharing that,
Thank you.
Dr. Catherine. And Jay said, man, listen, stay out of my business.
What business, Jay?
Wow, when you were
Yes.
talking about being in that dark place and just, you know,
Yes.
the storms of life coming and
Yes.
things of that nature, but just holding on, the sun will shine.
Oh yes, yes. Always. He's gonna let me tell you something. Look at any hurricane, any tornado, anything that ever hit the world.
Yes.
Guess what happened after every one of them? The sun shines.
It shines.
It shines.
It shines.
The sun
Absolutely.
shines.
Absolutely.
The sun, the S-O-N has to shine. And it
Yes.
shined on me. It just happened to shine on me.
Good stuff.
Yes.
Jeanette is on. Hello, Jeanette. Jeanette is my fellow community ambassador for the Merchant Choice Neighborhood Plan. She's on, and she said when you were talking, she said, "Woo, yes,
Yes.
yes, yes,
Yes.
And then, of course, my sister, she's running my page. She said the sun will always shine. So they're just echoing that. Brianna is echoing that as well. And Crystal said, look at the wisdom she's pouring into us. So you're pouring on tonight, Dr. Catherine.
Thank you.
You definitely is pouring. So let me talk about this.
Yes, ma'am.
You mentioned this earlier, but let's kind of revisit this.
Okay.
You stated that you survived heart disease, a stroke, diagnosed with, I may mispronounce this, Chiara malformation, enduring 2 brain surgeries, and had triple negative breast cancer.
Yes, ma'am.
How did you get through all of this? And was it like consecutively one after the other? How did, I mean, even when the doctor broke the news to you with the first one, what went over you, Dr. Catherine?
So I'm gonna start with 2003. I'm gonna make it really short because it's the span of it. It was like maybe a 7-year span that I was going through this stuff. That really, and it could be a little longer. But 2003, I was sitting at a church. Actually in our church convention. I'm Amy Zine preacher, and I'm sitting there, and I told the lady next to me, I said, I just don't feel good. I flopped over. I was having a stroke. They rushed me to Duke. Duke did a reverse because of the time frame that I got there, and it messed with the whole left side of me, which I stayed in Duke Hospital, and I could talk, but it was a mumble talk. The left hand was messed up. I was not really paralyzed on the left hand, but the leg had a drag, and I was like, okay. They told me, they said, well, if you have stairs, you can't go home, get out of ICU. Well, I'm gonna tell y'all something that really I can remember like it was just happening now. I looked into the left side of the corner on the 3rd day that I was ICU, and I promise you, I thought I saw the Spirit of God hovering amongst me. And he said, daughter, I laid you there to get your attention. I'm like, whoa, God, you got my attention. And this is a mind conversation I'm having with the Spirit. This is spirit to spirit. This is not my words. This is spirit to spirit that I
Right.
was seeing. And in my mind, I'm saying, but you have my attention, God. And I can remember everything because I can remember the conversation. And he said, but I don't, because man has your attention. And I don't have your attention. I don't have anything. You're doing everything for man. And I'm like, I'm not understanding. But I did understand what the Spirit of God was saying. I just was in denial. Well, the next day they came in. I had a catheter in me. I started pulling things out, and I wanted to get up because he said, "But I'm gonna rise. You're gonna rise again." He said, "But I'm gonna raise you up." And I got up, and they told me, they said, "No, ma'am." I said, "I got to go to the bathroom. I don't want this in me down there." And I mean, I was mumbling it. And I got up, they let me up, and I fell. And I had to get right back in the bed, stay there. And on the seventh day, I walked out of there. I walked up some stairs, even though I limped. I walked out of there, and I had a rehabilitation at home, which my sons, because they wanted to put me in the VA home. My sons them started bathing me. Now, this at this time, my one son was 15. No, one son was maybe 13, the other one was 17. It was 5 years apart. So I think it was 13 and 17. They started bathing me at home, doing
Wow.
me at home. A grown woman, and my son's doing me, taking care of me. To God be the glory. I lost my home, became a homeless veteran. Was staying in a car, and my car didn't tell nobody. Nobody knew this. Was staying in my car. A white lady saw me in the store with my sons one day. She said, "Man, what's going on?" My son was asking me for something. I said, "We can't afford it, boy. Don't ask me for that." And you know how you're trying to do something. I'm still going through, remember. And
Right.
this lady said, "I got a place for you to stay." She let me stay there for a whole year until my full disability came through. To God be the glory. Never asked for a penny back, but I paid her every penny. I paid her what rent would have been, and probably a little more. Because when God sent people to bless you, you remember to do unto them what they've done unto you. I didn't want to stop. So after that, in 2005, I had a heart attack teaching school. I was a teacher at
Right.
Lambert District Christian School. I'm like, boom, something hit me. I'm like, okay. I drive myself to the ER. After I drove myself to the ER, they told me I drove myself to VA. Ain't nothing wrong with me. I left. I told my son, my chest hurting bad. My son called 911. That night, I had emergency stent, put 7 stents in me. That man said if I wouldn't have got there, I would have had a massive heart attack. That was number 2. That was in 2016. No, 2006. I'm sorry, 2005, 6. I think it's because my time, so my numbers don't always line up.
That's okay.
Well, in 2013, uh, I have just had a mammogram in May. In July, 4th of July, me and my girlfriend getting ready to go to a thing. And all of a sudden, the towel dropped. I fell under here on the left side. And I'm like, what is that? And I'm like, wait a minute. And the spirit say, and the spirit always tell me things. I will tell y'all that about me. Felt that you have breast cancer. But before then, the young lady in my church had triple negative breast cancer doing it. And I'm thinking Sheree might have remembered. I ministered to her the whole time. She did not want to die. She had 2 young children, maybe 3 and 5. I said, you're not going to die. I said, God said you shall live. I said, but I want to tell you about the living. The living might not be on this side. You will
Mm.
reign with him. I have to let people understand when God give you an assignment, you have to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth, no matter who it is. And I gave it a yes. You remember? Yeah, I'm glad you said that. And so Shakira, that was her last name. And so through that, I had to stand up and tell the church I had the same type of breast cancer that she died from. And everybody,
Wow.
ooh, yeah, Ned is her name. Sheree is right. And I told them, I said, but it's going to be all right. The doctor told me, oh, you're going to die in 18 months. I said, the devil is a lie. I started researching triple negative breast cancer. African American women and men know about it. That means there's no positive receptors. That means there's no positive estrogen in our body, no positive prognosis estrogen, nothing positive about it. It's all negative. That means it's a young woman. It's a young woman under 30 or 35 and younger. Well, I was 37. I'm like, wait a minute, I ain't got no breast cancer. No, I wasn't 37. I was in my 40s. Can't remember. 2013, so I'm 59. Yeah, y'all do the math. I can't remember all this stuff.
That's
But
okay.
here I am, because that's what the stroke did. Stroke, my numbers don't always line up because I'm not good at
That's
that.
okay. Your
Um,
story makes sense. We
but
worried about numbers.
but the and Shareka attested this because she'll remember. So I had people going in there. They was gonna take both of my breasts, and I was ready for them to take both of them. I said, "Baby, ain't nobody sucking on them, licking on them, nothing. Take them both." Excuse my French. I just have to be honest with y'all. I told them, if that's what's gonna save me, take both of them. And so went through my treatment, and the doctor in there, when they did the biopsy, it broke off, and he said, "Ooh, not good." And I was fine with whatever they said. And I was on there. I want to see the screen. I want to see this. Let me see this. I wanted to see myself
Right.
about what I was going to go through. And my doctors, like they always tell me, it's a very aggressive form of breast cancer. That means it can't take you out. That means there's no cure. And I don't take the pill like some people could take the pill for 7 years and etc. Well, we can't take a pill for this. Triple negative breast cancer, there's no pill. Triple negative breast cancer, if you had it once, it's a possibility that it'll come again. I rebuke it in the name of Jesus. It should never come in my body at all. If it does, then me and God will handle it. But for now, I'm not going to have it. I claim victory over it. And that I'm standing by on the words of God and his promises to say, no, I won't have it.
Yes.
But nevertheless, I did it. And I tell people, research what you have. When a doctor tell you you have breast cancer, the doctor tell you have any type of cancer, research it for yourself. Study it and know it for yourself. Know what you're fighting against, because you see, you can't fight what you don't know. And so since I found out what it was, I studied it. I found out what to eat, what not to eat. I found out the positive, the goods, the bads, or whatever not. And guess what? I said I would never, ever, 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 ever. If they tell me you can't do sugar, you can't do this, you can't do that, because if you do this, every now and then I have my sodas and stuff. Don't get me wrong, but it's not an everyday thing.
Right.
Because it craves out for the sweet. It craves out for certain other things. So you got to stay away from these things when you have it. And even though your family member might not want to get away with the sugar, the cakes and all that, get away from it, baby. Do you some good. You'll lose some weight. Thank you, Jesus, because I need to lose some. Now, after that, in a year later, I had my first brain surgery. And I don't know if y'all can see the back of my head. I'm going to try to show y'all the back of my head where I had my brain surgery at. The back of this.
Wow.
So that's Chiari malformation. Chiari malformation means that your brain is going down your spine. My brain was falling down into my spine, decompressing it. That's why they have to do decompress surgery, open it back up and put it back up. So therefore, what happened is it give you headache. It make you feel drunk. It's like you can't walk. I did all of those things before they knew that I had. I kept always saying I have a headache. I kept always getting up some mornings and walking like I was drunk. I drive like I was drunk. I was doing everything. So I have a limitation on my driver's record, and every year I have to renew it. It says I can't drive over 45. I can't drive long distance. I can't drive the highway. I can't drive at night. I can't do this, but I'm fine with that because guess what? I can drive.
Yes.
And I'm a drive. So, and then after that, because after the doctor did it, it formed a pocket because it was getting too much of fluid in there, because now the spinal fluid will not go through my head the way yours work. That I have to go get spinal fluid out of the back of my back. I have to do spinal taps.
You still have to do that, Dr.
Yes, ma'am. I do spinal taps every 6 months. I'm due one now because I got up the other morning walking like I was drunk.
Wow.
So I do.
Yes, Dr. Catherine, you are like, oh my gosh, just to look at you, you would not have imagined that you have been through all of that and experienced it. But we've had some comments come in, and I've put some of them on the screen. Okay. And Brianna said it's important to educate ourselves, like you were talking about the different foods that we eat. It can cause our body certain issues.
Yes.
But like you said, and I think like just in our culture, we're just so used to eating certain types of foods. And the fork, I was talking to my esthetician. She's also in holistic care, Danielle Coaster. She said the fork is killing us.
Yes.
It's because certain things that we're eating is affecting our body. And then people also concur with that. She said, yes, sugar literally feeds cancer cells.
Oh, yes. It's bad. Sugar is bad for us. Sugar is really bad for us. It does. Even if you have a little, because it's different stages of cancer. And I tell people calcium have to build up first. And I studied this. First of all, a lot of us have calcification in our body. And if the doctor tell you have calcification in your breast, then do away with any sugars. That means
Mm,
you know the form of it, the formulation of it has already started.
right.
And I tell people, I say, so therefore, what the doctors are not telling us is that since the formulation has already started it, we have to stop eating sugar. I love you. You ever seen people that poke about 5 or 6 packs of sugar in their coffee?
Ooh, hold on, Dr. Catherine. You just got all up in me. And
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you why, Dr. Catherine.
Mhm.
I don't even drink coffee, but last week we was at an event and it was outdoors and it was a little chilly and I need something to warm me up. And Dr. Catherine,
Yes, ma'am. Oh, I already know. You ain't got to tell me.
that was me.
I know us. I know us.
Oh,
I'm being honest with you. You know, because I do it myself. You know, and I even, but if you don't do it all the time, it's not gonna. I'm gonna tell you this, but you have to be careful because you really don't want to add a lot of sugar. That's why I tell people, yeah, you gotta really be careful about sugar intake. Limit it if you can. I tell people, I say limit it if you can. Cancer feed off of sugar.
were you're talking to me tonight.
Yes,
And I
cancer feed
will
off of
take
sugar.
that in consideration. You know, I
Yeah,
don't have cancer or anything
sodas.
like that,
Uh,
but I
you
have
know.
to be careful. I am getting
Yeah.
a little older now,
Yes, ma'am.
and I love sweets.
Yes.
Like yesterday, I had a
Mhm.
couple slices of pound cake.
Yeah, and it's okay to have them every now and then. This is what I tell everybody because you don't want to deprive yourself for anything.
No, but
I do
I
too.
need to be delivered, Doctor.
Well, you know,
Listen, I'm gonna be honest.
I
I
need to
need
be
some help.
delivered from M&Ms. M&Ms are my go-to when I feel bad, and I
Yeah,
don't like I don't like candy. I really actually don't like sweets at all because I know what it does, and
right.
so since I know what it does, I really don't care for it. So but every now and then I will get my M&Ms when I'm feeling like, man, I just need some chocolate. Get 3 or 4 of them, but I got to get the whole big bag. I got to get the whole
Wow.
big bag. Yes,
Wow.
ma'am.
Cordell is sending you some emojis here, basically letting you know you're a very strong woman. Brianna said, my goodness, wow. He
Yeah.
also said, you are a warrior. She's a warrior and a survivor. I
Thank you.
agree.
Thank you.
Wazaria's Faith is on. She said, hey, it's me, Faith, touching video. And wow. Now,
Yes.
Faith is like 8 years old, but she's using her brother's
Oh,
page
okay.
and she's tuned in tonight. So that's good stuff.
Yes.
Thank you so much
Yes.
for joining, Faith. Yumika
Yes.
said, Dr. Catherine, you are a living miracle. Thank you,
Yes.
Jesus. And if
Amen.
I'm not mistaken, Yumika, make a comment in the chat box.
Yeah.
Yumika is a health and wellness coach, if I'm not
Good.
mistaken. She
Okay.
attended my sister pour into me event, and she's a health and wellness coach.
Yes.
I'm not sure if she's taking actively taking clients now. She may be actively taking clients. So Yumika, make sure you put your contact information in the comments for me, please. If you
Yes.
are taking new clients, someone may want to connect with you because we're talking about health and wellness. We're talking to a breast cancer survivor, stroke
Yes.
survivor, heart attack survivor,
Yes.
brain shift to the back survivor,
Yes.
everything.
Yes.
Mabel said you are a survivor.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Yes, ma'am.
Miss Jackie is on. She said, this is good information to me. Oh my
Yes,
goodness.
ma'am.
Yes, Miss
Yes.
Jackie. Thank you. Miss Jackie is my mother-in-law. She throw down, she
Okay.
cook country food, but
All right.
and I eat it, but I eat it, but I'm like, even with me, I'm like, gosh, we got to do better with our health
Yeah.
and our
Yeah.
wellness. We really do. But she do cook some healthy stuff every once in a
Yeah.
while. I'm talking about you, Miss Jackie. Brianna said, I had some today. So she had something today. And she said, I'm so glad I don't have a sweet tooth. Be
Exactly.
thankful. Be thankful. But you know
Amen.
what? And I'm not like really big on a lot of health and wellness. And when I mean big, I'm talking about a lot of knowledge. I have some
Mhm.
knowledge. And I
Mhm.
don't claim I'm a subject matter expert. But they said like when you eat sugar and a lot of stuff like that, it's chemical. You start having a chemical, reaction where your body
Yes.
start craving those
Yes.
different sugars and stuff like that. Is that
And,
true?
and that is true. And the reason being is because the way the body is, and I had to try to understand the way the body is doing my cancer thing to ask the doctor, why are you saying that actually the doctor didn't even tell me that. What I had a friend of mine who had cancer, and he had told me about he had prostate cancer and said do away with all your sugars. And then I'm like, okay. Why? He said, because they feed off of it. Well, I needed to know a little more about it. So when I started doing the research, is it because the body craves certain things. If you drink a Dr. Pepper today, guess what? Tomorrow your body's going to crave another Dr. Pepper, and or either any other type of soda or whatever not, because it done got that taste of it. It done got that taste of that sugar in it, and we want that. And so
Wow.
even cookies, potato chips, that's why we can't just eat one of those things, because they make it, the food industry make it where we want more of it. And since we want more
Yep.
of it, that's what we're going to do. We're going to buy more of it because we just can't eat one. And that's the way life is with anything. That's anything that's not good for us. We want more of it because it's not good for us. And so we have to learn to say no to it and discipline ourselves. My son, and I love my both of my sons, they don't buy no sodas at their house at all.
Wow.
They kids don't eat no candy or nothing. They're gonna have fruits. Now the fruit, because the fruit is a natural sugar, and we
Yes.
even have to watch that, because too much of that is bad for us too, because it's a natural sweetener, it's a natural sugar.
Wow.
Those little huggy or oranges or whatever not, I could eat a whole bag in one night by myself
Wow. The
because
little
it's sweet.
halo oranges or
Yeah,
whatever
the
they
halo,
call.
yeah,
Yes.
because they sweet, and my body crave the sugar because I won't give myself sugar. So that's the natural sweetness that my body crave, and our body crave sweetness. And
Right.
and so we have to be careful on them. So I have to tell myself after two of them, I'm like, girlfriend, you ain't getting another one till in the morning. But soon as morning come, I'm going and get it out of my refrigerator, and that's how the body is with them.
Wow. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for sharing that, Dr. Catherine. And
Yes, ma'am.
April Ogden said, could you please talk a little bit more about the breast calcification, about the calcification? She said, can you
Okay.
please elaborate on that?
Okay. So and I didn't understand about the calcification, but every woman have calcification in their breast. That means because of the milk duds and milk that we produce as women when we are, young women. But we all have little spots of milk, uh little spots, little. They're so little, they're like a little pinhead of calcification. And as they grow, oh, and now this is not always. Please, April. You said April was her
April,
name.
yes,
Okay,
April.
so
Uh-huh.
this is not all of us, April, at all times, but some of us who have more genetic, because a lot of things are genetic. And
Right.
mine was not genetic. That's why they tell you to take the PAT test to find out about who in your family had breast cancer. Well, my mom's sister died of breast cancer in her 30s. And
Right.
then my dad had some sisters that died of breast cancer, but we found out when I did the genetic test, it wasn't triple negative. So we all have calcification in our bodies, and I think if the doctor's on here, she can clarify this. But the calcification in our body does sometimes break down, and so they're not really. It doesn't all turn into breast cancer and stuff. Some disappear, some begin to be bigger. You might have a big one. The doctor will tell you you got one the size of a dime on there. You might feel a lump in there, but it's a calcification. It's not really breast cancer.
Okay.
So African American women, when we go to the doctor, because of our dark pigmentation, what we have to do is ask for 3D mammograms.
Ooh,
3D mammograms. Don't ask
didn't
for a
know
regular
that.
mammogram. Yes, ma'am. Don't ask for a regular mammogram because of our dark pigmentation of our skin. We need 3D mammogram, and 3D mammogram give the image beyond the skin and everything else to show what is really behind that. That's why, and because I had just got tested in May, I
Mm-hmm.
shouldn't have never in July well, it should have been detected already. But because of they just did a regular mammogram, they didn't detect it because I didn't get a 3D one.
Oh my
And
goodness.
so had I not, and had God not allow a tower to drop during that time, and I was in stage 3A. So if it would go to 4, then God
Yeah.
forbid 4. But it was a size. Mine was the size of a say mine was the size of a quarter, where it came out all of that. So all this is deformed and whatever not. But know more about it and stuff like that, and ask them, even if it ask the doctor when he go in there and they see things and they actually, doctor, can we do a biopsy on that calcification to make
Right.
sure? And there's nothing wrong with doing a biopsy. You know, pays for free mammograms, so you can always get this. And then if any woman has breast cancer in Fayetteville area, I will say this, and Raleigh, most places all over the world now, that they will really take care of you, whether you have health insurance or not. They really, most of your hospitals do. So I know it's free. I do know it's free. Don't let them tell you you have to have insurance. If you have insurance, they're going to bill your insurance, of course. But if you don't have insurance, they will take care of you. Trust me, they will. If not, get in touch with me.
Y'all heard it from Dr. Katherine yourself. Women,
Yes.
we got to make sure that we request, especially those who are tuned in who are of African American descent,
Yeah.
or other women of color. You
Yeah.
need to be requesting a 3D
Yeah. And
mammogram.
Lenora, let me say this. We talk
Yes.
about women, but men has breast cancer too.
That's true.
And
That's
so
true.
I want my
Right.
males, when you feel, know your body. And this is what I tell anybody. Don't be ashamed to touch your body, to know your body. Because men, everything ain't a muscle. So when you find something
Okay.
different, I tell people once a month, pick a day of the month. If it's the first of the month, every first of the month, when you go into the shower, make it a habit to go in circular motion, deep press circular motion. Put your hand on your head and let the water go down and go circular motion all around your chest or breast. And then you can find if it's different. If you do that every month, I promise you, if something is different, you will automatically know it.
You know it. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
That's good to know. That's good to know. Myra is on. She said, "You are awesome. Thank you for the information."
Yes.
Thank you so much, Myra, for tuning in.
Yes.
Yumika is on again. Just want to recognize her. And this is her information. She is a nurse health coach. And this is her email address, everyone. And again, whenever you press the replay, you can see her information again. And she is taking clients, and currently the first session is free. So thank you so much, Yumika, for putting your information up there, because our health is wealth.
Yes.
Our health is wealth. You know what benefit is it for us to have X amount of dollars, but our health is not good to really enjoy the money? So we really got to, take care of ourselves.
Yes.
Don't forget to share and tag a couple of your friends, y'all, please, because it's season finale. You're going to see some replays later on. But when you can get it live and in action, it's good, because you can ask questions, you can participate, you can make some comments, and it's just good conversation, period.
Yes.
Now, Mabel also said great information. Sherry said she is right. Men have chest meat too.
Yes.
That's what she called it. My sister's special.
Yes.
So
I like that. I like
that. Yumika said, "Thank you, Lenore Porras. You are more than welcome. You are more than welcome, Yumika, in regards to that." So that's important, because I also know, like, women of color, they also state about us having a lot of fatty tissue.
Yes.
Around there. So that 3D, that's very, very important. Yumika got a little laughing emoji there. So that's good stuff. Now, let's talk about you and all of these degrees. We ain't gonna hit on all of them, but you have a master's degree. Let me go from all of them.
Okay,
y'all. This is Dr. Katherine. I'm gonna read y'all. She has a biblical studies degree or diploma, medical billing, a master's degree in marriage and family therapy, and a doctoral degree in general psychology. Are you currently providing marriage and family therapy? And why did you go into marriage and family therapy? What drew you to that?
Broken homes, to include my own, has to be, well, my husband is deceased now. My ex-husband is deceased now, but I would say I didn't come out of broken home. My mom and dad, for if they would have been married, they would have been married for 61 years, 62 years.
Wow.
And they were married for 50 something years until my father passed away. So I will tell you that that my mom and dad, 40 something years, because my dad passed away 20 years ago. My mom and dad, they loved each other unconditionally, fault and all. We all had faults and stuff like that, but in front of us, they displayed nothing but love. If it was a fight, they didn't do it in front of us. They took it behind the bedrooms, and that was it. My dad was a sheriff, and he was a peaceful man. He didn't like no argument, none of that. So when I got married, I came into a marriage with a person I really did not know, because we met in the military. So his values and his beliefs I was like, he was sweet when I was going with him. And I'm on live, so I just have to tell the truth, shame no
Just
devil.
be raw and
Yeah,
authentic. You can just
exactly.
be honest.
And then when I married him, he said I changed, but he changed. But nevertheless, we changed. Let me put it like that, because I said there's always three truth: His, mine, and the Lord. So to make a long story short, when we divorced, it bothered me that I was raising two kids, but my mother and father stepped in to help.
Okay.
Again, my mother and father stepped in. My mother and father raised my two sons. And
Right.
so when they helped me do it, I didn't even like that dynamic because I was a single parent in the military, and I was seeing my other friends being single themselves in the military, and I'm like, what is going on with the family? Where is family dynamics? Where is family values? Where's family? And family begin to separate as new things begin to come in the world. Family begin to split up. Husbands were cheating on wives was cheating on husbands. People was just doing whatever they wanted to do any kind of way. You just had a lot of people making babies and doing whatever they wanted to do. So I began to study the dynamics of the family to find out what could bring the family close. Well, I
Okay.
found out, Lenora, that family did not know how to communicate. Back
Okay.
then, the reason why your mama and daddy and your great grandmama and great granddaddy did not get a divorce because they communicated that you ain't leaving no matter what, because we got all these mouths to feed and you ain't walking away.
Right.
Well, we started finding that the grass is always greener on the other side, so I can leave anytime I get ready. I can divorce you, pay the lawyer some money, and walk away from you and buy. I'll just pay child support and keep on going. So, but we didn't communicate we didn't communicate to each other. We talked to one another, and there is a difference.
Yes.
Communicating means putting your differences aside and listening to what the other person had to say.
Right.
When you talk at me, that means you're talking at me and you're not giving me a chance to talk back.
Okay.
You saying what you want to say, and then you walking out the door. Well, in counseling, in therapy, and everything else with the family is you have to tell people. Every one of us going to come to the table with an open mind.
Right.
I'm going to be the listener. You're going to be the communicator. You're going to be the communicator. Then you're going to be the receiver while one is communicating. See,
Oh,
in order to talk, in order to really hear a person, you got to receive it. And everybody
right.
don't want to receive what people have to say.
That's true.
So I tell people, in order to communicate, you and I are talking, you're receiving what I'm saying, but you're also allowing me to communicate to your audience, and they're receiving it also.
Right.
So in family, if we're not willing to do this, then guess what? We're not gonna make it.
Right.
We're not gonna make it. We're gonna and in our world right now, Satan is so busy because Satan don't want none of us to communicate. You know the reason why? Look at the family dynamics and at the phone, everybody. You ever go out to a restaurant or somewhere?
Yes.
Everybody got a phone.
Right.
Everybody's doing that. The husband, the wives, the kids, iPad, everything. And you're
Right.
like, what? Y'all came to dinner? What you came to family dinner for at this place if you're doing that?
Right.
So my family has this thing at when we're at the table.
Mm-hmm.
No devices.
Wow.
No, none of this. And so I think family need to get back into the thing of when is game night. Now, me and my son, we play games. We
Okay.
we have game night. What family game night? You know, daddies and mamas need to come back and say, we going to church. See, I had this
Yes.
conversation with a person the other day. I say, listen, society have made it really easy for us. I'm not going to ask you how old you are, but I'm going to tell
You
you,
can ask me.
I'm 59 years old. How old are you?
40.
Okay, how many whippings you caught in your lifetime by your mom and daddy?
I was a I didn't get a lot because I was a pretty good kid.
Okay.
My sister and my brothers and them got the whippings.
Okay, well,
But I did get some. I did get some.
I was a good kid, but I got whipped with a extension cord, a shoe, a belt, a clothes hanger, anything my mama and daddy could get their hands on.
Woo!
It was not child abuse. It was discipline. It made me who I am today. Now, the law says, oh, you can't do that because little Johnny called and said, my mama beating me. People have taken it out of context and content, So therefore, now the law say you can't even whip them. If you in my presence, honey, I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna let you know. I tell my grandkids and anybody else kids in front of me, all behind me, on the side of me, baby, you got the wrong one. I was raised old school, so I'm gonna pick up whatever I can and get you. That's just me. And I done took a belt to Southview High School in Fayetteville, Hope Mills, whatever school it is, and took one. And you know what the principal told me? You can't whip him in front of here. I told him, I said, don't you ever call me back. If I can't whip him where he did it at, don't call me back for nothing. And you know what he said? Let me leave, ma'am, and you could do whatever you have to do. And I did.
That's and I say me. This, I interject this, is different when a parent chastises a child and abuse a child.
Exactly.
Now, that's the difference. Well, we're not promoting abuse, because I don't want nobody to say, well, Lenora's on her platform promoting abuse. No, we're not.
I'm not saying whip them with the things that I got whipped with them.
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm saying discipline them enough to know that if, listen, Lenora, I just have to be frank and honest.
Yes, ma'am.
You know why teenage boys are killing each other now? There's no discipline.
No discipline.
Because of the fact that they're not raised in two parents' home, because they walked away. Remember what I told you about family dynamics. Everybody's walking away now because, you know, mamas are having babies at 13 years old now.
Right.
And by 18, when they get 28, they child 13 having a baby too.
Right.
They think it's cute to be a grandmama at 28. No, it's not, society. It's not. So what I'm telling you is that we got to break these generational curses that yes. the devil has put up on us and start bringing back together the dynamics of the family to say, listen,
right.
Yeah. Listen, this is what we're going to do. We're going to bring back structure into the family.
Yes.
We're going to sit at the table and talk. Yes. About why you're not doing well in school. We're going to take away your phones, and I don't care who you call. You can tell everybody. As a matter of fact, 911, what's your emergency? Ask my sons about me calling 911. What's your emergency? I got a son right here. You might want to come to my house because I'm getting ready to do some things real quick. Now, you going to make it here, Mr. My son, no, I done called the police on them and told them you need to come here now for his safety, not mine. And I did what I had to do. But now both of them, one is a nurse, and the other one is a general manager of a company. Both of them well.
Wow.
They know I don't play. Granny didn't play. My grandsons will tell you I execute everything that I gave my kids. I did it the same way. I'm executing all authority. My title is grandmother. That means granny. That means granny or grandmother. They call me granny. That means that granny has the title of grand. I oversee mom and dad. That means that when I tell you to go to bed, put the phone on the table, you're going to do just what I tell you to do. No back talk, no nothing.
Right.
And see, but then again, that's love.
That's yeah.
Because when you go to jail, guess who's the first person going to be come and get you out? Granny. But Granny not even gonna let you go to jail because I'm gonna teach you the right thing to do. And if I teach you, the Bible says train a child. If we start training them, we won't have these problems that we have in society. And our biggest thing, Lenora, is because our society has taken away our rights, has told us what we cannot do and what we can do. And that's why you have young people that we're dealing with in the church. And we're burying them today. That's why we have the gangbangers and everything else. And we're saying, my son was good. No, baby, tell the truth. Your son wasn't that good. He was in a gang, baby. He was shooting and robbing people. Don't lie, baby.
Right.
I tell the truth. He was good for nothing. And you just got to be truthful. Sometimes you have to take these blinders off our eyes, Lenora, and tell the truth.
That's true. That's true.
All of us are good.
That's true. Now, Dr. Catherine, we know this month is pretty much known as like Breast Cancer Awareness Month, but it's also known as domestic violence.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Lately in the news, there has been right here in Fayetteville, North Carolina, the other week, a young man took the young lady's life, took his life. Just on the news today, I didn't see it on the news, but I saw it on the internet. They found a young man and a young woman.
Yes, ma'am. In Raleigh. Yes, ma'am.
So talk about domestic violence. And it's, it goes both ways.
Yes.
It's not the male beating the, in the domestic violence situation with,
Mhm.
as the abuser to the woman, but vice versa. Some men are being abused as well. So talk about that a little bit.
So we have confused love with lust. In other words, when I say that is because I love you so much that I don't want nobody else to have you.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what happened to the young couple that they found. I read that too. I don't know what happened to the young couple because they said there was no foul play. That means nobody else done that. And I'm gonna be honest with you, when it first came out, my opinion was, wow, it was a suicide. They took their own life because whatever parents made of intervention or didn't want them together, or something happened, or he didn't want her to leave him for nobody else, or vice versa. I don't know. But whatever happened, two lives are lost and families are grieving right now. And
Right.
my heart goes out to them. The young man that from Fort Bragg that took the life of the young woman, my heart goes out to her family and his family too.
Right.
But we have to learn to let go of people. Everything that look good and everything that seems good might not be good for us. And I tell young couples that it's all right to love and you're going to love again. If that person don't want you, don't hurt them. I've been in situations where people have men. I'm gonna say men. I can't say people. Men have tried to control me, even with their fists. My
Mm.
daddy told me a couple of things in life when we were little. Me and my sister. If
Okay.
he hit you once, it's a mistake. If he hit you twice, if you don't take something, pick it up and knock him out, then you're a fool. Don't call me. That's how I live my life. The first time it might be a mistake because you might be playing. And I'll tell you, honey, I don't like that. That's not who I am. You
Mm.
can't do that to me. I got 3 brothers I'm going to call and 2 sons and a lot of cousins and nieces and nephews. You might not want to do that around me because they'll come and get you. So what I tell anybody is walk away. If
Mm-hmm.
you are in a situation, ladies and men, because I found out through research that more men are ashamed to say that they have been violated by women because the character of a male is supposed to be very masculine and nobody is supposed to know. Well, I
Right.
tell anybody, if someone is abusing you, and abuse can go mental, it can go physical, or I say emotionally or physical. If a person is talking down to you any kind of way and using language that you're not accustomed to or you don't like, that's abuse. Walk
Right.
away. If
Walk
a
away.
person is physically putting their hands on you, grabbing you, pulling your hair, and doing things that are unethical, walk away because it's not healthy. Relate that means that you're in a unhealthy relationship. I
Right.
don't care how many baby I love you. Baby, forgive me. I don't care how many beautiful gifts he buy you. It's not a healthy relationship.
Right.
You deserve better. And I'm gonna tell you something. Sometimes our self-esteem, Lenora, is not that good. And I'm gonna tell you the reason why. Because if you look at my head, now I do wear my wigs, but I
Mm-hmm.
tell people in the morning it's a battle to see myself like this.
Wow.
So if I wouldn't be a strong woman, and
Right.
just say if I was seeking relationship and I'm looking like this, and a man would constantly put me down because tell me nobody want me because I'm bald headed, I done had cancer, I done this, and I keep hearing that in my ear, my self esteem is going to go down. But
Right.
I tell people, one thing that God tell me, have told me over the years, that I'm a royal priesthood. That
Right.
means, regardless of what you say that I am, I don't have to answer to those things. Because when I
Right.
go read the word, it says that I am a royal priesthood. That means I am a queen. Okay.
Right.
So if I'm a queen, why should I let a king hold me down?
Oh, it's
So
good.
you should not see, and as a matter of fact, a real king would not even want to do that. A
Right.
prince or princesses would not even want to do that. You know,
Right.
anybody in the royal court will not want to do that because once you know who you are, nobody should take that away from you.
That's
You know,
true.
and
That's
a
true.
lot of time, men and women suffer from self-esteem. And they've had it. Most abusers have had it done to them, so it
Mhm.
twinkled down, and that's why they do that.
I've noticed.
Yeah,
I've
it
noticed
does.
people
It
that
does.
deals with deal with that type of issue.
If
Absolutely.
you look back to research and really they go through therapy or they go through counseling or they go through something, they will find out that in some form or fashion, some family member, normally it's a family member, believe it or not,
Okay.
a close family member have done it to them, and
Wow.
they were told, "Don't tell mommy, don't tell daddy, don't tell nobody," and it does.
Wow. Thank you
Yes,
so
ma'am.
much, Dr. Catherine. That was
Yes.
good. That was good.
Mhm. Mhm.
Listen, you have been a great, great guest slash pour on tonight. I'm
Yes.
sure we will keep in contact.
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
sure individuals who watch tonight's podcast definitely want to connect
Yes.
with you. So thank you again. But
Thank
before
you.
we end the show, I've been talking about this award
Uh-huh.
for the last couple of days, but I got to show it since it's my season finale.
Okay.
I turned 40 years old on October the 1st. And when
Oh,
I tell
wow.
you, it just seemed like, thank you. The
Yes.
God has truly been blessing me. The
Mhm.
opportunities have been amazing.
Wow.
And this podcast it started in March, and I've
Mhm.
had it twice a month, some months 3 months, depending on the
Wow.
Tuesdays, every other
Uh-huh.
Tuesday. And this is the season finale. And
Wow.
it's amazing how on Saturday I received my first public award,
Wow.
Editor's Choice Award with Achi
Yes.
Magazine, Dr. Juanita
Yes.
Fletcher and her phenomenal team.
Yes.
They had some award shows throughout the United States, and
Yes.
they made a visit here in Garner, North Carolina.
Oh, wow.
And I shared my testimony that on that night I was nominated for 2 awards. I
Uh-huh.
didn't receive those awards, but I celebrated the other ladies.
Yes.
It's nothing like celebrating other
Yes.
people. Even when
Amen.
you don't necessarily bring back, I will say, the hardware or a
Mhm.
trophy, you
Uh-huh.
still can celebrate others. And I've
Yes.
always been like that, not a jealous bone. And I know
Amen.
people say when you have to say it, then you may have an issue. No, I can say it and I don't have an issue with it.
Exactly. I
So
say
we
that
would
too.
celebrate others. And her daughter was like, we have 2 awards that we encourage everyone to stay to the end. And then at the end of the show, Dr. Fletcher approached the stage and she called my name, and I was in
Wow.
shock. Y'all can see the video on my Lenora Porras page,
Okay.
but I'm so grateful. I'm
Yes.
so grateful because I don't share the same story as you, Dr. Catherine, but we can
Mhm.
say this: we each have our stories.
Amen.
We each have overcame obstacles,
Mhm.
but yet we have obtained some type of awards or a level of success.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
with you sharing your story on tonight about all the surgeries, all the sicknesses that you've been through, all the scares, but yet and
Yes.
still you walked across that stage, you did your dance, you did your poodle call, and look
Yes.
at you now, you're still doing amazing things.
Yes.
That's what people need to hear.
Yes.
And even with myself, people need to hear our stories. And we
Yes.
got to continue to share our stories, whether it's
Yes.
on this platform or another. We need to share our stories.
Yes.
And I just want to say, Tracy said, congratulations. Thank you so much,
Yes.
Tracy, and congratulations to you, Dr. Catherine.
Yes.
I
Yes.
just want to say thank you to everyone for supporting
Yes.
Lenore Pours this season. I'm truly grateful. I'm going to be taking a break into next season, but I still will be doing that. But I do want to end it with this. You all, please follow my Facebook page. Please
Mhm.
visit my website, www.lenoralassiter.com. If you need a life coach, you got Dr. Catherine offer that
Yes.
service. I offer that service.
Yes.
I'm a career coach as well, certified
Yes.
professional resume writer. I
Yes.
also can help sell you a home or sell your home. So I'm
Yes.
also a realtor, a
Yes.
real estate agent. So there's so many things that we can do, and we're not limited. We're not
Yes, ma'am.
limited. So again, thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Dr. Catherine, you can say the final words, and then that'll be the end of the show.
I just want everybody to stay safe. Know that whatever you're going through, God got your back. And if by chance he does not, and I know he does, he will send you angels after angels. And all you have to do is hold on just a little while longer. He will send you more.
Thank you so much, Dr.
Thank
Catherine.
you.
Thank you so much, guests, for hanging in with me for this first season of Lenora Pours. I love you all so much. Again, invite your friends and family to like Lenora Pours show. And I hope that you guys will hang in there with me for another season. Thank you all so much, and good
Yes.
night. Hold on,
Good night.
Dr. Catherine. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.